Hi everyone, welcome to Table for Two. I am the Elusive Bigfoot.
And I'm Onezie.
And today our top 5 list is going to be about our favorite co-op games. So, as usual, I have a few honorable mentions.
Just a few.
Just a few. Okay, so my first honorable mention is Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion. Love it as a dungeon crawler. It is for people who have not experienced role-playing games or real good dungeon crawlers where you got to find your way through, the building or through the rooms and find the treasure or kill the monsters. This is a great introduction to it. One thing I like about it is that it walks you through in progressive difficulty. So this game is from I know they have a solo mode, 1 to 4 players, all right? And it gives you 4 different characters that you can choose from. Jaws of the Lion. My next honorable mention is Micro Macro. And I love giving this away as a gift. It is a black and white piece of paper that's a giant map. It probably would almost fill this table itself. And on it, it's got story points. And you're trying to answer or find the solutions to the mysteries. And you just follow the path and you have to find maybe, it's almost like a Where's Waldo? Where is the guy who has a hat and a cane? Okay, so he's missing his cane. How did that happen? And you just follow the story. So that is Micro Macro, Crime City. My next one is Pandemic. Now, if I hadn't already given away the Legacy Pandemics, I probably would have pulled that. But since I went out, we had to have Pandemic. We have regular Pandemic. It is a game where as a group, you're battling against the diseases. So one thing I like about it is you're working through, do I want to spend my actions in curing the disease or in stopping it from spreading? Or maybe do I want to help my partner because he's about to get hurt? So love this game, Pandemic. And it was very suitable during the pandemic we had. My fourth honorable mention.
Wow.
I only have 4 this time.
This is an honorable mentions video.
It is. My fourth honorable mention is Chronicles of Crime. This one is the one that we have left to play. We played the other 2. It was a series of going through time. You started out in, I think, the 1400s, then you went through to the 1800s, and now we have the 2400s. So it's using an app, and you're trying to solve the mystery based on the cards that you have. And I think they just did such an excellent job. You use your phone to look around and then you can see clues and then you pull those cards for those clues. Okay, I see books, pull the card that has the books, and I see bottles over here, and I see this and I see that. And from those clues, you kind of start piecing together what might have happened. And you can ask several of the townsfolk what they saw or what they know. And then you get to solve the crime.
All right.
All right. Those are my honorable mentions.
Are you sure that's all of your honorable mentions?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I, believe it or not, I cut this back. These are the only honorable mentions I have.
Okay, so shall we start with my top 5?
You only have 5?
I only have 5.
Okay.
These are top 5 lists.
When you say 5, do you mean like 5 or 5?
So I'm going to steal one from your honorable mentions to start. That's Pandemic. If you could hand me the box, please.
Let me see. Do I have Pandemic here?
Sure that you do. Pandemic. It was honorably mentioned earlier, and now I'm going to actually put it on the list. This is a great co-op game. Everyone's playing to save the world from 4 different diseases. Mm-hmm. And it's variable player powers. So you receive a character that you're playing, and you can do different things than the other players are doing. Mm-hmm. And together, you discuss things and take your turn and figure out how to cure all the diseases, save the world from disaster. That's Pandemic. 2 to 4 players.
What does it say on the side? Can you save humanity?
Can you save humanity?
Sometimes we can't. First few times we played it, we died. Everybody died. Disease was just rampant everywhere. Okay, my first one is actually Legendary, Big Trouble in Little China. Even the name of it really cracks me up. So if you've played Legendary deck building game where you're a Marvel character and you're fighting against the Marvel monsters in the Marvel universe, It's got the same kind of a feel, except it is the theme of Big Trouble in Little China. So you've got the Pork Chop Express, you've got Jack, you've got Egg. I mean, this is just an amazing game. It's by Upper Deck. I believe it has a solo mode. Well, let's be honest, any co-op game almost always will have a solo mode. So it is 1 to 5 players. Plays for 2 of us. I think it plays about 30 to 40 minutes.
It plays fun.
Yeah, it definitely plays fun. And this is just themed so beautifully. It's got the great artwork from the movie. Oh, also, you could take a look at our Facebook group. We did talk about one time when we did a mashup of legendary Big Trouble in Little China, and we mashed it with the Marvel Universe. So it was Spider-Man and Thor that were working with Jack, and it was fantastic. So please put in the comments, have you ever mashed anything up that wasn't supposed to be mashed up? What was it? Because we love to try new things.
All right, next up on my co-op games is Fox in the Forest Duet. So there's a game called Fox in the Forest, which is a little different than Fox in the Forest Duet. The duet version is for 2 players, as the title implies, and it's a co-op game. You're basically trying to wander through the forest finding gems without running off the end of the path. And you get a few rounds to do that. It's a very fun game. It doesn't take long to set up, doesn't take long to play. And
it's a trick-taking game, right?
It's a trick-taking game, but also the cards that you play will have instructions on them for other things to do other than just playing the trick.
Right, variable powers that you can play. Like you move 1 space for each paw print that's on the cards. You combine those totals, and sometimes you can like disregard 1 set of paw prints or choose the other player and go in that direction instead.
Yeah, Fox in the Forest Duet. Check it out.
All right, my next game is Lord of the Rings. Journey in Middle Earth. So much fun. If you are into Lord of the Rings, you get to adventure forward as Bilbo or Ranger. I mean, there's different characters, and they invented a powerful woman character as well that you can go as. So I really like it. It's a great dungeon crawler. You get to put out different tiles based on the scenario you're choosing, and based on your actions, it will tell you to take an action. Tons of replayability on this. Love it. And it's got miniatures. So if you're into miniatures, kind of got a little bit for everyone, I think. And instead of rolling dice, you're flipping cards over to determine whether or not you were successful in the attack or defense.
And with a lot of dungeon type games like this, if you're remembering the old D&D where you had to have somebody run the game for you, on these newer kind of dungeon crawler games, there's an app that does it for you.
Yes.
So you just decide what you're going to do on your turn, and the app figures out everything else. It's kind of lazy, but it's fun.
It was fun. When we were in the middle of playing this the first time, it was on our 10 by 10, which is when you're playing 10 games 10 times, and it was one of the ones we chose. We were actually traveling. I can't even remember where we were. I think we went to Star Wars Celebration. We were at some convention, but we brought this with us, and it was so convenient to bring up that app to tell us what to do, and it knows, you bookmark it, it tells you exactly where you left off.
Not convenient to bring the box, but convenient to bring the app.
Luckily we drove, so that was okay. Okay.
Right, my next up co-op game is Forbidden Island. Yes, I'm right side up. Forbidden Island. So this is kind of now a classic co-op game. How many players on this one?
2 to 4.
2 to 4, thank you. I thought there was more. There's at least more rolls. 2 to 4. It says right on the box. 2 to 4. So this is another one with variable player powers, and you choose a role or you're assigned a role. And everybody's trying to escape an island made out of tiles. And you're trying to escape with some artifacts.
Before the island sinks.
Before the island sinks. So there's a mechanic of flipping tiles over and removing tiles that sort of represents the island sinking. It's easy to teach, easy to learn, easy to play with friends who are not super into board games. They can learn it, and it's fun to play. Co-ops are one of our favorites. So that's Forbidden Island. check it out.
Okay, my next game, I'm going to pull this one because it's right next to me, is Paleo. Paleo is a great game. It's 2 to 4 players. You are during the time where you're trying to put this picture of a mammoth together. So you're going back in time a ways. But what's interesting is that you have a deck of cards and you are flipping over the cards. You are trying to figure out how you're going to beat the different perils you're experiencing. Maybe you have to fight the saber-toothed tiger. Maybe you have to gather more food. Maybe people are sick. But it's so much fun, and in order to win, you do have to put the picture of the mammoths together, and they have tons of different scenarios that you can play through, so it can kind of walk you along, you know, from easy to hard. Highly recommend this game. And then what I like to do, maybe we'll do a video about this, is that when we play a game like Paleo, I like to play music on YouTube that might be like spirit drums, like this. My friends made a DVD or music about spirit drums and Native American sounds, and so I always like to play that in the background. Okay, that's Paleo.
From the past to the future, my next one up is Time Stories. Oh, another big box. So big.
I can almost see over it.
Such a big box. You can do it. I believe in you. You can see around it. All right, with Time Stories, you're working together to solve a mystery. And what you do is you go back in time, and I think you inhabit the bodies of people in the past, and you use your brief time in the past to make some choices and try to solve a mystery. If you don't solve the mystery in the allotted amount of time, you go back and start again, but you have more information than you did the last time. So each time you go back, it's a little bit easier to try to solve the mystery.
Before your time runs out, because you're rolling a die constantly to progress the game forward.
And once you get done with the original Time Stories, there's a ton of expansion scenarios, so you can solve new mysteries, solve new puzzles, and have new fun. That's Time Stories.
And by the way, I don't know if you know this, they made expansions that don't require the base game.
Oh, I did not know that.
So that's something that if you're interested in checking that out, you could try it that way too.
All right, that is Time Stories.
Okay, my next one I'm going to bring out is a game that is beautiful. This is Wonder Woman. I don't have a lot of games where women are truly the hero of the story. Like, it is clear that the women, these Amazons, are going to take over and they're going to win against the villains. This is Wonder Woman Challenge of the Amazons, and I have to show you, got to show you what this looks like. When you open up the game, this is the image of the board. Gorgeous, right? So much fun. One thing I love about this particular co-op game is that together you get to decide on what some of your actions might be. But then you're going to flip over additional cards, and then you're going to start to make your choices all over again. So I may know what Onesie had at one point, and we had discussed what our strategy might be, but based on his new hand that he's been dealt, combined with the cards he had before, he may change his mind completely. So there's no way to have like an alpha player try to tell everyone what to do. Everyone gets to play their own game.
Yes, the mechanic of the game is that you discuss. There's a phase in which you discuss. Then you get some more cards, and you're not allowed to discuss. And each player chooses their cards to play, and you get what you get.
Yeah. So that is Wonder Woman Challenge of the Amazons.
All right, my final pick for co-op game is Dead of Winter, The Long Night. Another big box. Dead of Winter, Long Night. Plays 2 to 5 players. It says right on the back of the box. And this is a fun one. We haven't talked too much about zombie games or post-apocalyptic games.
Not yet.
Not yet, but that's what this is. The players are survivors, trying to find food and supplies and fight off
the zombies.
The zombies, the living dead, right? So, and also rescue some other survivors who they might find here and there.
don't rescue the survivors. They just eat the food.
That's okay. They're helpless survivors. They need our help.
They're just going to eat the food. Just let them be.
They're our friends.
They eat the food.
This is a long game. It takes, I would say, a couple of hours to play.
Yeah.
And
It's a longer one.
It's got a nice big board. There's a different tile for each area of the town, like the gas station and the police station and the grocery store.
And this one has expansions, right?
I think it does, yes.
It does. It's got the I think it's called Raxon, the biology lab, and also it's got not the gangsters, what were they called in here? Not the raiders. There's like a gang in it, and they keep trying to steal your stuff. The raiders, I think it is.
Yeah, so that's The Dead of Winter, The Long Night. It's a fun co-op game, even when you save the helpless survivors.
Okay, my last game is something that you might be mad I'm showing you, but I'm going to show you anyway. So I love this game. This is XCOM, the board game. So XCOM also showed up in, like, I think it was PlayStation. It was definitely a video game. And then they came out with a board game. I looked this up. It's out of print. It was to find one that was like, I think, somewhat new, but it was used, was almost $125, I think.
Wow.
So, but it's so much fun. What you're doing is you're playing against the government, or you're playing the government to battle against the aliens, and you're trying to save the world. And so you can use an app as well. We like to do that. And then it'll progress you through the game. Like, are there still aliens out there? Yes or no? Do you still have space shuttlecrafts or aircrafts? Yes or no? Do you still have satellites? Yes or no? Are you still alive? Yes or no? Then you keep going until there gets to a point where you just can't progress anymore, and then you lose. So
so much fun.
So much fun. But this is XCOM, the board game. That's it for me.
All right, that's it for me. So that's our top 5 in no particular order of co-op games, plus quite a few honorable mentions.
I like co-op.
All right, until next time, we are Table for Two. I'm Onezie.
I'm the Elusive Bigfoot.
We'll see you.
Bye.